I would like to call the Monday, December 18th, 2023 Board of Education meeting to order at 7:02. Could we please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Scarrinzi, would you please read the mission statement?
The Orange Elementary School District recognizes that the education of each child is the shared responsibility of every member of our community. Our goal is to inspire and empower. Yeah. A little feedback, yeah. I'll start that last line again. Our goal is to inspire and empower each student to achieve academic excellence, embrace social and individual responsibility, and lead with integrity. We believe all individuals should be valued and treated with respect. Together, we will make a difference.
Thank you. Public participation, do we have any? Anyone? Very well. Consent agenda. I'm looking for a motion to accept the first item under the consent agenda. The first item is the minutes from the November 20th, 2023 Board of Education meeting. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes from the November 20, 2023 Board of Education meeting? Liz, second. Carmen, any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstain?
I'm going to abstain as well.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you. I just realized I wasn't here.
All right, did you change your vote? You got that? Okay, very good. Thank you. Moving on, we'll get to the superintendent's report. Dr. Scarpetti?
Good evening, Mr. Crow and all board members. I hope all of you had an enjoyable Thanksgiving and wishing everyone a belated Thanksgiving at home. As we are in the thick of the holiday season, along with it comes winter concerts. All dates have been shared with the board members. I'd like to thank board members who attended excuse me, our holiday concerts already. There's a few more to go this week, and I want to thank you for making the time for those who are planning to attend. This morning, you may have been woken up with a little bit of a wind in the hair. We did have a delay this morning because a lot of debris was on the road, some trees were down, collaborating with the BOA district. So we did a 2-hour delay. At that time, all schools had power. I want to commend Mr. Gray. He was out on the road very early in the morning, and when he went to Peck, he realized that half the school had power, half of it didn't. And so we had to think about some decisions on getting ready, and so we started getting ready to get lights from other schools and such. Within that time of calling the delay, the whole entire school lost power. And so then we had to make a decision, should we close school or shouldn't we? But UI, in collaboration with them, they said that within 45 minutes, an hour of school starting, we should be all set. So we decided to have our kids come in. The faculty and staff did a great job, also the students. We want to thank the police department and fire marshal for their assistance, and of course, Donnie Feuer and his team for collaborating with us this morning. And about 25 minutes in after start of school, the lights went on, so it worked out well. But here we are in the season where we have to be ready to make some decisions of school closing or delay, and again, we've started that today. We also continue to progress through the budget process and preparations for the next budget year. All 2024-2025 department budget requests have been submitted to the central office. This week, all department heads will continue to meet and review their budget request. I will then reach out to Mrs. Riccio as chair of the Finance Subcommittee to go over the budget workshop expectations and possible dates to meet, or actually the date that we're going to meet is Thursday, January 25th. We'll also send a notice out to all of you, but if you want to make a note, it's Thursday, January 25th.
I thought you said the 21st.
Nope, Thursday, January 25th. The board, the,
21st, thank you. Is this February?
No.
That's a Sunday.
Yep. So just for everyone who's maybe not have a calendar in front of them, Tuesday, January 16th is the board meeting. Historically, we've met the Thursday afterward, and for this year, it's Thursday, January 25th. Also, as we've shared in the board update and the curriculum subcommittee, unfortunately, the reading waiver that we applied for, we did not get. This was, at some point, not a surprise, especially with much speculation that was occurring leading up to this. We are not questioning anything that we're doing with the science of reading, but the process we've definitely questioned, and we talked with the curriculum subcommittee with that. Since then, I put a request to the state for them to review our process. Received an email back from them and saying that they will get back to me. We also met with CAPS, the Connecticut Association of Public School Superintendents. They had an attorney there representing the superintendents. And without going into detail yet, they are questioning the language of the act versus how it may have been interpreted by the state. And to continue this process and questioning the validity of the process, we are actually asked our elected officials to meet with us tomorrow. And so looking forward to meeting with our state reps tomorrow. So I'll be updating the board with regards to this. And as in the past, we've welcomed any of our board members to come in and watch what we do in our schools. And if you want to kind of see it in first glance of what we do with regarding the science of reading, please don't hesitate. We'll be more than happy to welcome you in and show us what we do in the schools and how the kids respond to it. And lastly, again, during this holiday season, I know it's a time to celebrate and be with family. I hope all of you are going to be doing that and also at home. But I also know that it brings a bit of stress to all of us too. And I hope that you take the moment to just sit back, relax, and enjoy the family. And we look forward to seeing all of you in 2024.
Any questions for Dr. Scarpetti? Go ahead, Liz.
Dr. Scarpetti, for the families and parents that might be listening out there, has there been any update on Public Act number 23208, the Connecticut age cutoff for kindergarten? Any updates for families?
Yeah, so we're going to present in January with regards to that. I think there's some, the Public Act that you're mentioning, I think parents may be under the presumption that there's a waiver. So if you want to request a waiver, you can do so. And that may allow their child to enter kindergarten if their birthday's after September 1st. Some of the things that we had to do prior, we've been meeting together as a team since this Public Act occurred. But we also received that we're going to have some guidance from the state. I asked Mrs. Ito to attend a meeting, and I think that was about 2 weeks ago. And it was held at ACES. And at that meeting, it was shared, and again, Mrs. Ito, if I'm restating it incorrectly, they said, don't expect any more guidance from the state. You have to go with what the act says and what you think is best suited. So waiting for that, unfortunately, we were hoping some additional guidance. And then just last week, I met with the BOA district, specifically Bethany and Woodbridge with regarding that. So we will be presenting in January with regards to letters going out the next day, registering, and for those families that want to have that waiver, they're absolutely allowed to have that waiver.
Thank you for your very thorough answer. I think that will make a lot of people very happy to hear some of that information.
Yeah, and again, if anyone has any questions, we received actually very minimal questions about it. I think maybe 3 to 4 families have contacted us. To be totally transparent, I think some families are questioning other districts that have made decisions. For example, Milford has started the process. Milford's a little bit different. Milford has 8 elementary schools. Just imagine how many sections they have in those elementary schools. Where Bethany, Woodbridge, and Orange, we have one school, different sections. We have the most sections of kindergarten, but when you're dealing with the budgetary needs or maybe not as many teachers as you need, When I reached out to the superintendent of Milford, that's what was shared. In addition to that, I think another district that was mentioned was Westport, where they made a statement that said, we're accepting everyone. And I think that's great that they made that decision so early, but now there was feedback that, well, are you breaking the law doing that? And so as all this information was revealed to us, we wanted to make sure that we're not saying something and had to go back on it. But I think we'll be well prepared in January and help those families out and at that time.
Thank you again for your
Sure.
answer.
Dr. Scarpetti, I have two unrelated questions. Regarding the reading waiver, you'd indicated that you had contacted the state in reviewing the process. Do you know what that would entail exactly as far as?
We
reviewing our
don't.
process?
You know, there was a conversation that Dr. Russo had, I think, 2 days after we met with the curriculum subcommittee. A statement made to Dr. Russo was, let's not look in the past, let's look forward, there's no appeal. I disagree with that, and I got the sense from the curriculum subcommittee that I have their support of having a discussion with the state more thoroughly about that. This past Friday, there was a commissioner meeting, and basically they went over the steps, what they did, and again, I was being a listener, I didn't want to be antagonistic, but there were things that I disagreed with what they were stating. They have an attorney that they stated about they followed the Public Act correctly. And one of the statements that their attorney made is saying, there's nothing in this Public Act that states that an appeal and a need for appeal. My thought was, well, there's nothing in the Public Act that says you can't appeal either. So I think the state is getting a lot of heat with the responses, not just from our district, but many districts. And as I said, when I responded to them for reconsideration, and again, this was guidance from the attorney representing all of CAPS of asking for reconsideration, I got an email back that night that said, we'll look into this and we'll get back to you in the near future. I don't know what the next steps are, and that's why I want to be very cautious, because I think having a meeting with the state reps tomorrow is going to be helpful. And I do think, you know, again, I'm not trying to avoid any questions, but just a theme that I have observed and other superintendents observed is there were programs that they said, if you choose this program, you don't have to worry about the waiver. We look at things differently. A program is not a teacher. A program doesn't necessarily encompass everything. And we've been taking, and I don't want to say painstakingly, but it's been a group effort with regards to teaching the science of reading for the past 7 years here. And that's why I'm saying I have no doubt if anyone comes into our schools and see what happens, there's no question about that, which then bridges the evaluation they had of our waiver. So there was something called the Compendium of Documents. It's on our district website. It's something that we shared all of you. It's very thorough. How could they say we're not teaching the science of reading? How could they say that we're not teaching phoneme awareness? How could they say we're not teaching phonics? So there's just an element where I believe that the state was put in a situation, and again, we believe this. We believe all students should read. And this came from a district in which a lot of students were not performing, and so there's a concern for that, and we support that. But to put a blanket and saying that if you choose this program, you're okay, and then subsequently the districts that applied for the waiver and that got a partial, I think there's only one district that did not use a chosen program that got it. I heard that was West Hartford. We're reaching out to them to see what their compendium of document was. But those that received a partial, it was heavy on a program, even though it was an approved program. So in my quick knee-jerk reflection right now, it seems like if you had a program, you got it. But if you did something that, again, I'm very proud of the work that we've done here, and I don't, and not to throw any shame to the state, because I think we're put in a place that it's a tremendous amount of work that they've had to do, where they hired an outside consultant, which I'm questioning their expertise in the science of reading. And even during the meeting that we had, when we were going over a variety of elements of our compendium of documents, I felt that they didn't look at it. So it just begs the question
They
about.
said they didn't look at it.
It just begs the question, it just begs the question of the thoroughness and effectiveness
Yeah.
of the evaluation.
So it sounds like hopefully the appeal process is.
And again, I don't know if there's going to be an appeal
Yeah.
process, like, as I shared, a statement made to Dr. Russo was, there's no appeal process. Okay, you can make that statement, but doesn't mean the conversation's over.
Right. Thank you. I have one additional question.
Sure.
Regarding the waiver that parents can exercise with regards to the kindergarten enrollment.
Yes.
Is that something that will become, or will come before the board as far as each individual parent who exercises that waiver, or is that something that the board would
So
be involved in?
what is the language in the statute, and it's very, again, here's another decision that legislators make.
Right.
I'm thinking we always want to say with the best intentions. Even the request goes to, not even to the superintendent, it says to the principal. So the request will go to the principal, which is Mrs. Watson. The only thing that we are deciding is what that assessment is going to look like. And so it's more developmentally that we're ready for students. There's another element that I think some parents know. So say if we do the assessment in February, I know a lot of districts are doing it later. We don't want to do it later. But say if you were to send your daughter to us and do that waiver, and we don't believe that they passed that, you could say, can I do it in 2 more months? We have to grant that. So a parent is allowed to request more than one occasion to do the assessment. But that's where we are, and I think, again, knowing that we're not going to receive any more guidance from the state, having that conversation with Bethany and Woodbridge, we're ready to move forward.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Anyone else for Dr. Scarpetti? Very well. Thank you, Doctor. Mr. Gray?
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to begin by presenting the grants. This month, I'm going to do something a little different. Every month, I come up here and I read off every single grant and all of the numbers, and some of them don't necessarily change from month to month. You do receive this information in your board update every month, so tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to report on the grants that have changed this month, and this month, only 2 of them have changed. The first one is the ARP ESSER Innovation After School Grant. This grant was an original allocation of $479,000. Again, this is for our after-school programming, which has begun, and that is now spent down to $161,615. That expires at the end of this school year, so we're right on target with spending that money between the programming for the fall, winter, and the spring. Also, this month, the grant that changed was the ARPA School Mental Health Specialist Grant. Again, this is for hiring and maintaining school mental health specialists. And obviously, the money in this grant goes towards the salary of this person. The original allocation was $92,505, and it's spent down right now to $73,588. As Dr. Scarpetti mentioned, we are in that process of meeting with the principals and department heads to review the preliminary budgets in preparation for the first Board of Education budget workshop on January 25th. I'm happy to report, tied into the budget, although this budget is in the past, the auditors recently completed the independent accountants review process utilizing the agreed upon procedures, otherwise known as the AUP, of certain expenditure data. This is for the 22-23 independent accountants report, and that is being sent to the Connecticut State Department of Education. This is usually due by the end of the month, January 2nd to be precise, so we are a few weeks early on that. And that concludes my finance portion.
Any questions for Mr. Gray?
I just have a comment.
Susan?
I just want to thank Mr. Gray and your entire team getting the audit done so early and accurately with virtually no recommendations coming out of it, which is fantastic. I think you all deserve a round of applause, so thank you.
Thank you very much. I will relay that to them.
Please do.
You've made Susan very happy. There might be a little something under the tree for you this year.
Well, I did receive chocolates.
You did.
And cards.
Would you like to do your next report?
Sure. Facilities and operations, we have,
Oh, hold on, I'm sorry, Mr. Ziman.
Personally, I look forward to the litany of the grants. But among other things, it shows what a wonderful job you're doing with it. That's all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Gray?
Once again, a team, I have to say, it's a team effort, so thank you. We have the holiday recess coming up, so during that recess, the custodial staff will be taking advantage of the time to conduct cleaning within the buildings. They'll be doing what we've done in most of our breaks, which is opening up the windows, getting that fresh air through the buildings, power washing their restrooms, sanitizing the high-use touch points, and also scrubbing our floors in all of our main walking areas because they tend to take a beating more so than the classrooms at this time of year, especially preparing for the inclement weather. Speaking of which, as we anticipate the first snowfall of the year, which, knock on wood, the last two storms have been rain, hopefully they stay that way, we've completed our annual maintenance preparations to be ready. This includes checking the operation of the electronic and hydraulic operation of the controls on our truck plows, placing plow sticks along the curbing of all of our school parking areas so the curbing stays intact, checking the operation of all of our snow blowers and snow removal equipment, which actually has just been returned from the shop after getting a tune-up for each piece of machinery, and purchasing ice melt for each of our school buildings so we have plenty of that on hand should the need arise. I am hoping that we have a mild winter with relatively few impactful storms, so Dr. Scarpetti and I are not calling each other at 4:30 a.m. I can do without some of those, but we're ready to go if we have to. And that concludes my report for facilities and operations.
Anyone else for Mr. Gray? Yeah, I don't want to hear from Dr. Scarpetti at 4:30 in the morning either. Dr. Russo?
Good evening, everyone. As Dr. Scarpetti shared, you all know about the reading waiver status, but at this time, we do want to make sure that all our families watching from home know that our reading instruction is in fact aligned to that body of research that says how we should teach children how to read. And that secondly, our knowledge base is up to date. As members of our curriculum subcommittee can attest, our work is consistently reviewed by true researchers, researchers who have conducted research for several decades in the field of reading, researchers who have been associated with world-renowned research facilities in the areas of spoken and written language, and who themselves are not associated with organizations that might cause conflicts of interest. Having said this, as Dr. Scarpetti shared, but we do want to reiterate, we do have concerns which we have shared and we continue to share with the Connecticut State Department of Education, specifically weaknesses in the waiver review process, most notably with the organization of the Public Consulting Group, or PCG, which was hired to evaluate the waivers. We are concerned that the rubric PCG used, as Dr. Scarpetti mentioned, for evaluation was not up to date, and it just could not evaluate the kind of in-house created literacy curriculum model composed of a collection of instructional practices aligned to research such as Orange's. And so I do want to reiterate that our Orange staff started with superficial learning, went to deep learning, and have transferred those skills, which is what we want as educators for our own students when it comes to learning. And as Dr. Scarpetti shared, we did submit additional documentation, all shared with the curriculum subcommittee and with all of you in the board update, that I think is so remarkable. I can't imagine anybody looking at that and coming to the conclusion that we don't teach phoneme awareness, phonics, fluency, oral language development, comprehension, or vocabulary, because we certainly do. And as Dr. Scarpetti shared, that information is located in our compendium of documents. It's been on our website since last February, which is almost a year. As Dr. Scarpetti mentioned, we have requested reconsideration, another meeting with the department, and hope to invite the Connecticut State Department of Education team members to come and actually see the differentiation of the science of reading in action, live and in person. We are hopeful that this will all be sorted out sensibly in the coming weeks, and of course, we plan to keep you updated. Other than the reading waiver, for students of Orange acting responsibly or SOAR, Detectives Bailey and Nepper have created podcasts that align with their lessons. We did share those with the Board of Education members in the update. And we also engaged in another professional learning session. Our leadership team, our reading consultants, our speech and language pathologists, one classroom teacher, a special education teacher, in a session on integrating our current concept imagery learning with our oral language development tools and a new sentence expansion tool to help us impact writing now. So we continue with our work. And that concludes my report, Mr. Kraut.
Any questions for Dr. Russo? Go ahead, Betty.
Dr. Russo, is the SOAR program with the sixth graders completed now, or is it still going on?
It's still going on.
Okay, so there'll be some sort of recognition or ending ceremony of some sort later this year?
There is for DARE, or there was for DARE, so I would assume that yes, for SOAR, yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Dr. Rousseau. Mrs. Zito.
Good evening, everyone. As a reminder, the Orange Elementary School system is now accepting names for the preschool lottery for the 23-24 program at Mary L. Tracy. Our special education, general education integrated preschool is looking for 3- and 4-year-old children to enroll as community peers and positive role models. This program enriches each child's social, emotional, physical, cognitive, intellectual, and creative abilities through early academic and social experiences. It is designed to prepare the children for early school success and school readiness. By law, students with special needs identified with an IEP are placed in the preschool program by the Department of Special Services through the planning and placement team process and do not participate in the lottery. This information has been communicated via our website, oess.org, through a pop-up, the Orange Town News, which was published in the December issue, and school newsletters. Families who wish to have their child participate in the lottery may call the Special Services Department up until 4 p.m. on Friday, January 27th, at which time the lottery is cut off. As a quick reminder, through CT SEDS, the special education and 504 teams continue to engage the parent portal as a means to share special education and 504 documents with families. These documents are available in 10 additional languages. The 10 languages available for translation through CT SEDS include Spanish, Portuguese, Arabic, Creole, Haitian, Mandarin, Albanian, Polish, Urdu, Bengali, and Vietnamese. And that concludes my report.
Any questions for Mrs. Zito? Very well, thank you, Mrs. Zito.
Thank you.
All right, so we will move on to board business. At this point in time, I will be turning the meeting over to Dr. Scarpetti for our board elections.
Thank you, Mr. Kraut. If I may, I just want to read some steps that will be occurring. Again, at this meeting, we're having board elections. So we're now going to hold the election for the officers of the Board of Education. District policy states that this election is held biannually in December following the town election. Biannually means that officers will serve for 2 years in their office. There are 3 offices: chairman, vice chairman, and secretary. Your ballots are in front of you and you have your names on them. Please check to see that you have your own ballots. Please use the blue ballot for chairman, green ballot for vice chair, and the pink ballot for secretary. We will start with nominations. Any member may nominate any other member. Any member may nominate him or herself. Nominations do not require seconds. There is no limit to the number of people who may be nominated for an office. Where there are no more nominations, the nominations are closed and the election will take place. The election rules requires that a winning candidate must have a majority of the eligible votes cast. In other words, a winning candidate must have 6 votes. If in the course of the election for any of the offices, no one candidate gets 6 votes, the voting is repeated until one candidate gets 6 votes, or another candidate withdraws. If the board was to reach a complete stalemate and no candidate was able to receive 6 votes, a motion could be made to suspend the election for that office, and the first selectman will appoint a Board of Education member to that office. So I hope I didn't go too fast, but I'll be more than happy to repeat any of these steps. As you think about the steps that I just read to all of you, I know there's been times where there's been a unanimous vote, and people have come to me on the side and saying, well, why do we have to write it down if it's unanimous or what have you? It's according to the bylaws, you have to have it written down. We have to hold it in the office if anyone wants to see it. So didn't want to confuse anyone with that. And before I start with any opening nominations, any questions about the process? So with that being said, I would like to take any nominations for chairman of the board. Mr. Ziman?
I actually wrote a wonderful nominating speech, but I don't really think it's necessary. I would nominate Mr. Kraut with pleasure to continue on as chairman.
So we have one nomination for Mr. Kraut. Do I have any other nominations from the board members? Seeing none, if you could cast your ballot. Again, this would be the blue ballot, and then Darlene will come by and pick your ballot up. So again, blue ballot for chair. Yes, sir. So again, at the bottom, there's a signature that's needed, so if you could just sign.
I signed my name first, doesn't matter, right? Okay.
Mr. Kraut has been elected chair again with 10 votes.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. So next, we move on to the green ballot, which is vice chair. May I have any opening nominations for vice chair? Ms. James?
I'd like to nominate Jeff Cap.
We have one nomination for Jeff Cap. Are there any other nominations for a vice chair? Seeing no other nominations, if you could please cast your ballot, again on the green ballot for vice chair.
Mr. Kapp has been reelected with 10 votes.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. And last is the nomination for secretary, which is the pink ballot. So do I have any nominations for secretary of the board? Mrs. Hadlock?
I would like to nominate Susan Ricchio to be the board secretary.
Are there any other nominations?
I just want to second that nomination. I just wanted to say she's done a wonderful job.
Seeing no other nominations, if you could cast your ballot, please, again on the last ballot, which is in pink.
Ms. Ricchio has been reelected with 10 votes.
Thank you, board members, for your participation. I'd like to turn the board meeting back to Mr. Kraut.
Thank you, Dr. Scarpetti. Thank you, board members, for having faith in me once again. I promise you I will do my best to live up to your expectations. And the only other thing I would say is I'm very fortunate to have all of you as board members, but extremely fortunate to have Susan and Jeff to my left and to my right. We act as a team. I am only one vote, and without their support and your support, this board couldn't do and accomplish the things that it's accomplished in the past. And going forward, we will continue to accomplish many things for our kids. Thank you. Discussion and possible action on the 2024-2025 Orange Board of Education school calendar. Dr. Scarpetti, could you give us a brief overview on that?
So just as a reminder, and I know we had some board members that weren't in attendance last month, there were two requests from the Amity School District. One was to have February vacation, so that would be a full week in February. That would be, we are currently on the calendar in front of you, the 17th and 18th are off, and they are requesting the 19th, 20th, and 21st, which will allow their seniors to extend additional days to their internship programs. And the other request was about two holidays, Eid and Diwali.
I believe that the Amity Board asked for the students to propose that the following year?
That is correct, sir. So they did not put Eid and Diwali on their calendar for next year, but to bring it back to them for that. I also shared, just so you're aware, Mr. Kraut, and to the rest of the board, we've had conversations. One of the things that we would like to do as an addendum is to honor all our students by just having a list, even though we may not have a school day off, but for all holidays, because we have other students that represents, for example, Three Kings Day. We would want to just kind of have a list honoring those students. There's too many holidays to represent on one page, or it'd be on a second page, but to honor all the cultures that represent Orange.
Okay, thank you. Any comments or questions on our calendars? Betty?
Dr. Scarpetti, is there any further information on the number of students affected at Amity High School who are participating in these activities?
I didn't get the exact number, Mrs. Halleck. I know all seniors participate. I just think it was an element of when I questioned it, is that the partnerships, I think some people requested additional days. Those partners will still be participating. Amity said they will do what's best for their students. But I know all seniors do participate in the internship program. How it impacts after the finals, I'm not sure. I did not get a final number on that.
Okay, and I guess I'm looking at, February vacation has not occurred in more than just a few years. I'm just wondering why all of a sudden this is being brought up after a long time of not having February vacation.
The only assumption I could make, Mrs. Halleck, is just feedback that they received from the partners that work with the students.
Which we don't know how many partners that really,
I don't know how many partners actually went to them and stated that they wish that they had more days with them. I don't have that answer.
thank you.
Well, that information would have been helpful. Anyone else, any comments? Go ahead, Tatiana. Go ahead, Tat.
Thanks. My only concern is for working parents. 3 extra days, I think, in the middle of the winter, certainly it's not the norm anymore, and it's not the norm, I think, in much of the state. I worry that would cause a burden to have those extra days off. And, in the middle of February, where we're probably dealing with a snow day here or there, and I don't know how much of an impact those 3 extra days are really going to make for an internship. We're the only school district now having a full week off in February. I don't know. It just doesn't, to me, it doesn't seem like it's worth it.
Tatiana, did you have a comment?
Yeah, no, I just have a question. I wasn't here at the last board meeting. I don't know if it was brought up whether or not the April vacation that our school district utilizes, if that coincides with the Amity. I don't know if there was a concern if anyone came for public participation regarding whether or not our week off is the same week off that Amity has off, as far as like siblings and whatnot.
For the April break, we have the same as Amity.
We do, okay,
Yeah.
thank you. You do, okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Susan.
I'm thinking about the whole fact that I think the internship that Amity provides to their seniors to give them some knowledge and some experience working in a company is great. And I think it's something that the students really enjoy. I don't see the logic in taking away more days to put towards that when they're doing it at the end and they're doing it consecutive days. So I just question it and agree with the fact that we don't need to have additional days off in February.
One thing that we did, just to let you know if this question popped up with, that conversations with Mr. Gray, if, we have off, we're in, they have off, that does not interrupt any of our buses. Just to let you know, I know that was a question that came up too.
Go ahead, Ken.
just based on my son's experience, this intern program was wonderful for him, and I'm sure it is, and it serves a purpose. But I don't feel the need either to change our calendar for it. I mean, that's up, the high school can figure out how to work it out, but I don't think that necessarily should involve us.
Anyone else? Go ahead, Carmen.
Are we having a discussion so that we can participate in the outcome, or is this already a done deal?
I'm not sure I understand your question, Carmen.
According to the calendar that I have in front of
Could you
me.
turn your mic on? I'm sorry, you must have turned it off.
Oh.
Thank you.
The calendar that I have in front of me has us leaving, getting out of school June 6th with only 2 days, 17th and the 18th of February off. So I don't know where the discussion of the other 3 extra days are coming in. Is that already a done deal at the Amity High School? Or is it just something that we're having a discussion about?
I think we're having a discussion, but I do believe the 3 days is already a done deal at Amity for this year.
Amity made that decision for their district that they're having those 3 days. So now it's this board's right to decide if they'll do that or they will keep the way the calendar is.
Okay, so that's the discussion at the table, is the fact that we have an option not to go along with the Amity High School.
That's correct. Basically, what we're talking about is
Yes, thank
voting
you.
on our Board of Ed, Orange Board of Ed's calendar as it's been presented.
Okay.
Or modifying it. Go
Thank you.
ahead, Betty.
I got it, thank you.
Thank you for asking that, Carmen. Have Bethany and Woodbridge boards already worked on this?
They are. Woodbridge is this evening. Bethany had it last Wednesday, and Bethany also did the week off.
They did the week off.
They did.
Oh. Thank you.
I don't want to put us in the position where the other BOA districts are giving the week off and we're not. However, since we eliminated the full week in February, and I remember this happened when my oldest was, I think, in kindergarten, because we were slammed with hurricanes and blizzards that year, and they said that's enough. Since then, we've gotten out of school much earlier. And I think anyone who's been in the classroom would agree that 3 days in the classroom in February is a whole lot different from 3 days in June, when everyone is itching to get out. So I just don't think it's in the best interest of our students to extend their day into their school year into the summer. I just feel like February is a better time to teach.
Thank you. Go ahead, Liz.
I couldn't agree with you more, Ronette, but I also want to agree that to hammer home on the issue, I think that maybe the Amity students who are looking for internships, could they utilize like the Orange Public Schools as like the teachers being their mentors? So maybe that we could provide them a place to go during those days to use up some of their hours. I know that when Amity, in June, the kids from the internship came to the middle school and we hosted them. So maybe trying to make it an incentive that, yes, we're in school, but we can take in some of the interns.
That has already occurred, Mrs. Tremper, that any student that is interested in teaching, I think Mr. Gray, in his previous position and alias as principal of Racebrook, I think you've had some students. And so we've had that, and again, we welcome them even and continue to welcome Amity students if they're interested in the teaching field.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, well, I would just agree with, I think, the board in that I do remember that year, Ronette, my daughter was in school too. I think we went almost to the 28th of June. The kids had, 7 weeks off maybe? Teaching, I think, is more conducive in February than it is on June 25th. And I think that I'm sure Dr. Byers will be able to figure this out without the rest of the district changing their calendar for this. So anyhow, Dr. Scarpetti, you're looking for a motion to approve the Orange Board Education calendar as presented?
As presenter, or if there's any other,
Okay.
Motions.
Regarding our calendar, are there any comments?
Point of clarification, so the one that we're approving is the last day of school, June 6th, and 2 days in February.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Ronit.
Okay, so Bethany is giving them the week. The high school and middle school are getting the week. And not,
this is next year's calendar.
yes, yes. No,
yeah.
I understand. Yes, no, I know that we're talking about next year. But I'm just, okay, so the middle schools, the high school, and one whole elementary school is, and as of tonight, Woodbridge might possibly be as well.
Correct.
I just don't, if Woodbridge is voting for it, I don't think it's right to do that to our kids, even though I disagree with it.
I would say this, during COVID, we were in school a lot more than everyone else. It doesn't affect the buses or anything like that. This is our calendar, it works for us. I think it's the best, personally, I think it's the best thing for our students. I don't understand where this came from to begin with, because to Betty's comment, this program's been going on for years,
Right.
as long as I've been involved. So, I mean, Bethany they're their own board, they can do what they want, Woodbridge can do what they want. Go ahead, Sue.
Dr. Scarpetti, can you please clarify? What Amity had said was that they are not taking this February off, correct? This February, because that calendar is already set. What I'm asking is that for the 24-25 school year, do they have it in their calendar, or don't they?
They do.
They do.
They do.
Thank you.
And I guess, kind of piggybacking on what Renette's saying is, all right, well, then I can see an impact on our school system when a whole bunch of kids whose siblings are already on vacation, they all decide to be on vacation and the families go away. Or, in teachers, there's going to be teachers in the Amity system who have kids in the Orange system, and the impact is, I guess, up in the air. I think I would like to keep our calendar the way it is, but I can see where there's going to be some issues.
Well, I think there's always going to be issues, but I think we should keep our calendar as is and see where this lands. But I don't understand the genesis of this. I've been on the board for, 12 years now, so why all of a sudden? If there's a scheduling issue, then they're going to have to work it out, in my opinion. But anyhow. Do we have to approve our calendar this evening? Is that a possibility, Dr. Scarpetti? Or do you need-
Absolutely. The board has the right to table this. If there's any specific information that you'd like me to find out, I'll be more than happy to do so.
Yeah.
And then we could bring it up at January board if that's what the board decides to do.
All right, well, if the board decides to table it, I don't recommend that. I don't like tabling things. This is an issue that's in front of us, and people need to know what's going on. So that's another 4 weeks that parents in our district have to wait to find out what's going on. But we would need a motion to table it, the calendar, till, I would assume, January's meeting. However, I will say again, this isn't the first time that we have diverted a little bit. There's been times, I think, actually, it might have been the time when we had all that heavy snow, where Bethany and Woodbridge were not ready to receive their kids after a particular snowstorm. We were. We brought our kids in to go to school.
We got out earlier.
And we got out a little earlier. And again, to Ronette's point, I agree with February. Understand that come June and June, we don't have air conditioning. Amity does. So you have to take that into, we all know about the heat factor. So what are we going to do? Have 3 or 4 half days in June? Go ahead, Ken.
Well, I think if we table it, the only reason we're tabling it is to see what Woodbridge does. And then we're back in the same situation, really, either way. So I'd just as soon vote on it now.
I just would like to vote with the full picture. I'm just, I think that the 3 days is the best for our students. I really do. But I just think that it's going to cause a problem for families if all of the other BOA districts are off that week and we aren't. I just would like the full picture.
Anyone else? All right, so basically, I'm looking for one of two motions, to table it or to bring forth the Orange Board of Education calendar as presented. Go ahead, Betty.
I make a motion that we vote on the calendar as presented tonight.
Do we have a second? Liz? Is there any, go ahead, any further discussion on this? Okay. All right, so there's a motion to approve the Orange Board of Education 2024-2025 school calendar. All in favor? Opposed? Abstain? You good? Very well. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to policy, second read, correct? I believe, yes, yes we are. Okay, policy second read. Orange Board of Education Policy 4148/4248, Personnel Certified, Non-Certified Employee Protection. Do I have a motion to accept policy 4148/4248, Personnel Certified, Non-Certified Employee Protection as presented? Do I have a motion? Susan, second. Ken? All in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Policy second read, Orange Board of Education Policy 5124, Students Reporting to Parents. Do I have a motion to accept policy 5124, Students Reporting to Parents as presented? Tatiana, second. Susan? All in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Very good. Second read, Orange Board of Ed Policy 5131.5, Students Vandalism. Do I have a motion to accept policy 5131.5, Student Vandalism? Tatiana, second. Betty, any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Policy second read, Orange Board of Education Policy 5141.5, Students Suicide Prevention and Intervention. Do I have a motion to accept policy 5141.5, Student Suicide Prevention and Intervention as presented? Betty, second. Susan, any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Okay, so our first reads, as you all know, if you have any questions about these first reads, please contact Betty, Dr. Scarpetti, or myself, because they will be presented in the January meeting for approval or not. Orange Board of Ed Policy 5142.1, Relations with Non-Custodial Parents. Orange Board of Education Policy 6162.4, School Volunteers. Orange Board of Ed Policy 6172.3, Parent Instruction of Children at Home. We will move on to standing committees, Finance and Operations, Ms. Riccio.
The Finance Subcommittee met prior to this meeting. As a reminder, if anybody's interested in joining the Finance Committee, I hope you write it on your papers. We really can use at least one other person, just saying. The finance meeting went well. I couldn't be happier that our audit came in on time, so that's it.
Any questions for Ms. Riccio? I'm sorry, guys, I forgot to do this. Susan, where's my ballot? Oh, here they are. These are at your desk. These are for the committees. I think most of you know what to do here. Number your choice, 1 being the best, 2, oh, I can't see. The third. Oh, okay, thank you. 1 being your number 1 choice, 2 and 3. Please pick 3. If you have comments, please write them in the margins. I will read them. And I would like to have you get them back to Darlene by January 3rd, because I will be naming the committees at the next meeting in January. What I do is I take this information, I compile it, I have my own opinions, I discuss it with Mr. Cap and Ms. Riccio and Dr. Scarpetti, and then in the meantime, I will certainly, you'll hear, each and every one of you will hear from me, so we can discuss what you may or may not want to do as far as committees go, and any opinions, if we can do things better, whatever the case may be. And then I will make that recommendation at the next meeting. All right? So in the meantime, guys, if you have any questions, please call me. You all know how to get a hold of me. Contact me if you have any questions, and please try to get them back to Darlene by the 3rd, so I can have that ready for the next meeting. All right, sorry about that. I didn't mean to forget that. Thank you, Darlene. Personnel policy, Mrs. Hadlock?
The Personnel Policy Committee met on December 4th to review and discuss the current first read policies. As always, as Bill already stated, please reach out to me or Mr. Kraut or Dr. Scarpetti if you have any questions, and I don't anticipate us meeting again before the next meeting due to the holidays and then the upcoming budget meetings. But I guess I should discuss that with the other chairs before I make such a statement.
I don't know if you're going to get much pushback there, Mrs. Hadlock. Buildings and grounds, Mr. Cap.
I do not have any additional updates for buildings and grounds because we did not meet in December. But once our new committee is put together, we'll meet maybe in January.
Questions for Mr. Cap? Curriculum, Mr. Ziman.
I apologize for any feelings of deja vu. On May 26th, the Connecticut Board of Ed announced the ARPA Right to Read grant for the purpose of supporting scientifically based and education-based literacy teaching and learning in grades K to 3. Now, that's what they said. The reality is the State Board of Ed has decided there are only a few commercially produced reading programs that can meet these requirements. Any district not using one of the acceptable programs must submit a waiver showing why they should be allowed, showing why they should be allowed to continue as is. The attempt here, I believe, is for the state to assure, sorry, this was going so well, I don't know why. For the state to assure that all districts are taking advantage of the knowledge that is available. That's very positive, but there are 2 problems with this. One is that they are focusing on the commercially produced program with its commercially produced curriculum rather than the curriculum itself that drives instruction. Secondly, it appears they're not interested in supporting districts that are already at or ahead of where they want them to be. In my years on the curriculum committee, I have found that adhering to the current research and science of reading is a cornerstone of everything we do in the Orange school system. Consequently, I expected we'd be receiving some sort of award, actually, some sort of acknowledgement. Sorry about this. I don't know why this is happening, but Plan B. We'd be receiving some sort of acknowledgement that this system is exactly what they're looking for. Instead, what happened was that our waiver request was denied. This repudiation was rendered by the Public Consulting Group, a company selected by the State Board of Ed to evaluate all the kindergarten to grade 3 reading programs in the state. This company, in an effort to simplify its job, produced a rubric that districts were supposed to fill in. The problem is the extent and depth of what is done here cannot be captured in a rubric. They wanted a Cliff Notes version, and Orange presented a classic, and they couldn't evaluate it properly. Everybody in Orange will suffer from this ruling, from Dr. Scarpetti and Russo, whose vision and efforts have made the Orange school system into what it currently is, to the teachers who have bought into that vision and have done more and with more enthusiasm than perhaps even they wanted to or thought they could to see that vision fulfilled, and now that vision blunted. This has to have an impact on the school budget, as the state will only be partially funding this change, and the rest will have to be borne by the school system and the town. Lastly, and most importantly, the children. This can only result in slowing down the express train that has become our K-3 reading and literacy program. Sorry, Beth.
Any questions for Mr. Ziman? Very well. Before I forget, and then we'll move on to ACES, correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Scarpetti, the budget meeting is going to be on Thursday, January 21st? 25th?
25th.
You better send an email on that. Do you, to me. Do you have a time yet?
We usually begin at 6. Again, that's historically what we've done, but
Okay.
I'm open to any other
All
time.
right, so if anyone has an issue with the time, because I know that's a different time than we normally meet, please contact Dr. Scarpetti on that. But that basically going forward would be the plan. And it's going to be, for those who don't remember, or for Anthony, they usually last 2.5, 3 hours, and we will have snacks. I call it snacks. Anyway, all right. ACES, Ms. Riccio.
So the ACES Governing Board met Monday, December 18th, and it's one of my favorite meetings that I go to because the students come in and they get awards for their artwork. Somebody has the cards. Who has cards? I gave everyone on the board a stack of cards, and it has all the children's artwork. Sometimes they did it by themselves. Sometimes they did it with a teacher. They also designed a T-shirt. I'll show you the T-shirt. I do have that with me, right here. So, and you can see it. So it's a nice ACES blue, and this student who actually did it was, oh, it doesn't tell me on here. Sometimes it has the student's name on it, but this was ACES's honor shirt. That was the #1 award that they got. And they get plaques, and they got a gift, and they came in, and we got to see them and, shake their hand and all that stuff. It was great. In addition to just having a nice event like that to see and meet some of the students, we also are working on 3 building projects. One is at 88 Bassett Road, one is at Wintergreen, and the other one is at ACES at Chase. And all of them are going as planned. We have a little bit of a change potentially in one group who's was doing some of the project management that may or may not want to continue. And we have somebody else who bid who may be taking over, but we're negotiating all of that right now. The audit for ACES for the last fiscal year also came in early, which I was also happy about. They finished the year with a 1.4 million surplus, which is great, which helps keep our costs down. Understand that ACES not only is a school, does not just have special schools or magnet schools, it also has a lot of services, and so we're starting to do our budget already. Yes, I had 4 budgets we had to look at this month. And each one is a separate, unique budget that ultimately will get rolled up into all of ACES, which we never have a budget that will operate at a deficit. They all have to either be a break even, like most schools. Some schools do operate at a deficit, but we anticipate that because it's benevolent work. It's just difficult in certain cases. We did get an award for our Access program, which is providing access to people who are 21 and over We actually have somebody who's, I think, 72 years old, who still goes out to the workforce, which is great. But we're having some challenges with the way the state compensates, because we have to have mentors to go out there with them. And there's some issues with just the whole, they go out, they get to work, and they love to work, and the mentors like to be there, but the way the state ultimately reimburses for that, it's losing a significant amount of money right now. So we're trying to discuss with the state to make it just a break even. We're not looking to make any money on it. We're not looking to, take advantage of it. We just like to break even. So I don't know that we're going to end up in a positive anytime soon, but we're going to continue to discuss it. So that's all good stuff. There were lots of schools activities from the winter break. There was some fairs going on. There are lots of concerts. There's lots of things going on. We had the Early Head Start update. And we actually approved the Policy Council bylaws for the Early Head Start program. And I think that's all that would be interesting for you guys. But I also wanted to, before I close my report, wish everybody a very happy holiday. Whatever you celebrate, I hope you enjoy it with your friends and family, and Happy New Year. Oh, but one other thing. We did do a moment of silence for Sandy Hook on Monday, which was to honor the Sandy Hook tragedy. So just wanted to acknowledge that as well.
Very good. Any questions for Ms. Riccio? These cards are great. Thank you to Ms. Riccio and ACES. We send them out every year.
Great,
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anything else need to get to? I think the date is the 25th, isn't it, Dr.
Yes, it
Scarpetti?
is.
So I'm looking for a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting. Ms. Riccio, Mr. Zyman. Any discussion? All in favor?
By now. Don't have to look.
Opposed? Abstained? Happy holidays to everybody.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.